Niccolò Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." This is not a call for cruelty, it's a strategic blueprint for power, influence, and lasting respect. In a world where perception is power, your ability to command respect depends not on your kindness or approval, but on your presence, your decisiveness, and your unapologetic confidence. Machiavelli understood one vital truth: humans are creatures of self-interest. They admire strength, consistency, and mystery. So to never be weak again, the first thing you must master is your appearance. Always look like someone who knows what they're doing, even if you don't. Your posture, your words, your tone, and your gaze should all be deliberate. If you look lost, people will treat you as such. If you walk into a room like you own it, they will adjust their posture to accommodate yours. Second, silence must become your ally. The more you talk, the more you reveal. The less you speak, the more people wonder what you're thinking. This sense of mystery builds respect and even fear. Machiavelli knew the power of mystery. When people don't know your next move, they can't manipulate you. So, stop oversharing. Let others fill the space with nervous chatter while you measure every word. Third, do not seek validation. People respect those who do not beg for attention or approval. When you need nothing from others, they begin to need something from you. The Machiavellian mind is self-contained. You must learn to become the source of your own confidence, your own validation, your own reward. Those who chase compliments look weak. Those who ignore them appear invincible. Fourth, know how and when to be ruthless. This does not mean being cruel or evil. It means knowing when kindness is a weakness. In certain situations, hesitation can cost you power, opportunity, or dignity. Machiavelli admired decisive leaders. If someone disrespects you publicly, you must not laugh it off. You must respond in a way that shows you're not to be messed with. Power is not just gained, it's defended. Fifth, you must control your emotions. Anger, jealousy, desperation. These are weaknesses that can be used against you. If you explode at criticism, they'll know how to provoke you. If you sulk after rejection, they'll know how to break you. Machiavelli advised rulers to appear compassionate, but to be cold when necessary. In your own life, let your emotions be tools, not chains. Smile when it's time to smile, but never let someone see how deeply they've affected you. The less reactive you are, the more commanding you become. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must learn to surround himself with capable advisors, not flatterers. In your life, this means only keeping people who sharpen you, not soften you. If someone drains your energy, interrupts your focus, or distracts you from your goals, they are weakening your power. Respect is often earned by what you do not tolerate. Be ruthless in your circle. People respect those who are disciplined with their energy and protective of their space. When you combine all these elements, appearance, silence, emotional control, decisiveness, and selective relationships, you transform from someone who wants respect into someone who naturally commands it. Machiavelli was not advocating tyranny. He was teaching us how to master the game of life. And in this game, being liked is a bonus, but being respected is the rule. Ask yourself this: when you walk into a room, do people lean in or look away? If you were stripped of all your titles, your followers, your belongings, would your presence still make others pause? That's the kind of respect Machiavelli wanted you to build. And it starts not with power over others, but power over yourself. You don't have to raise your voice to be heard. You don't have to dominate to lead. But you do have to be intentional, because the world doesn't give respect freely. You take it, you shape it, and you maintain it through strategy. Every move matters. And if you want to never be weak again, you must learn to move like someone who understands this game. The goal isn't fear. The goal is command. A quiet kind of command that makes others rethink their tone, their approach, even their words when speaking to you. Respect is not demanded, it's inspired. And no one understood that better than Machiavelli. The real question is, are you ready to stop asking for it and start becoming it? Respect is rarely given freely. It must be commanded through a deep understanding of power, perception, and presence. And no one understood this better than Niccolò Machiavelli. Imagine walking into a room where no one knows you, yet everyone feels your presence. This invisible authority is the essence of what Machiavelli believed could be cultivated. To achieve this, he taught that one must first embrace the appearance of strength, even when it is not present, because perception shapes reality in the eyes of others. When people believe you are confident, powerful, and unshaken, they naturally submit to your authority, and it's this illusion that often matters more than the truth. Men judge more by the eyes than by the touch. Machiavelli once wrote, emphasizing how visual and behavioral signals can dominate logical perception. Your posture, your silence, your words, they must all project unwavering control. Avoid being overly emotional in public, as Machiavelli saw this as weakness, something that others could exploit. Instead, harness emotion in private but display cold logic in the open. Respect also requires boundaries. Those who allow themselves to be too available, too agreeable, are often trampled under the feet of those more cunning. Think of a lion in the wild, respected not because it begs for attention, but because it commands it through stillness, through mystery, through latent danger. Machiavelli urged us to be like that lion, and like the fox too, subtle, elusive, dangerous when necessary. Do not give too much of yourself to people. Mystery breeds curiosity, and curiosity births influence. If everyone can predict your next move, they will never fear or admire you, two necessary roots of respect. Another key element Machiavelli preached was adaptability. You must shapeshift based on the environment and the people you're dealing with. There is no single version of strength. Sometimes it is loud, other times it is the quiet refusal to be manipulated. If a person tries to test you, you must pass the test without breaking your poise, responding with cold wit, not hot rage. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both, is one of his most famous and misunderstood quotes. It does not mean cruelty, it means presence, an energy that demands people think twice before crossing you. Respect does not grow in soft soil. It grows in the shadows of dominance, in the echoes of discipline, and in the clarity of personal principles. You must know what you stand for and never waver when challenged. A person who shifts values to please others is seen as weak, as spineless. Machiavelli would call them unworthy of command. In every room, your energy must suggest, I am not to be trifled with, without ever having to say the words. Practice silence as a weapon, not as absence. Let people wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning, because fear and respect are born from the unknown. Machiavelli believed that those who are too honest, too good, too moral are devoured by those who are not. And though this truth may feel brutal, history proves him right. To truly command respect, one must sometimes manipulate reality, especially when the cause justifies the action. This doesn't mean deception without cause. It means calculated moves that preserve your power and prevent you from becoming prey. If someone disrespects you publicly, you must respond strategically, not by exploding, but by asserting your dominance through calm yet firm action. The world respects people who have the courage to enforce their boundaries and the wisdom to know when to walk away. Machiavelli also saw alliances as a critical tool. Surround yourself with people who fear losing you, who see you as an asset, not a pawn. In every interaction, remind people, subtly, that your absence would create a void. Make yourself valuable and never beg for validation. Ask yourself, if I disappeared today, who would feel it? If the answer is no one, then you have work to do. Build respect through impact, through results, and through relentless self-discipline. The moment you tolerate being spoken to with disrespect, you train others to do the same. Respect is earned when you make it known, without theatrics, that you have standards, and those who violate them will not have access to your time, energy, or presence. You must become the type of person others want approval from, not the one constantly seeking it. That's Machiavellian power, not brute force, but psychological sovereignty. And as he would remind us, power is not evil, it is neutral. How you use it defines whether you become a tyrant or a leader. Commanding instant respect isn't about arrogance, it's about becoming someone who does not need to explain himself to be heard, to be followed, or to be remembered. It's about cultivating an aura so intentional that even your silence says something louder than most people's speeches. Never let others define you, define yourself, then make the world adjust. Machiavelli's third, and perhaps most controversial lesson on commanding instant respect lies in understanding the psychological tension between fear and love. In The Prince, He famously declared, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." This line is often misunderstood by modern ears. It doesn't promote cruelty, it promotes calculated presence. Fear, when used strategically, establishes boundaries that love often dissolves. People love you for what you give them, but they fear you for what you are capable of. When you are feared, you don't have to constantly explain yourself. You don't have to apologize for your standards. You simply are. Fear, in Machiavellian terms, doesn't mean terror. It means being respected so much that no one dares to cross you carelessly. This respect grows from how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you respond when challenged. When others know you won't fold easily, emotionally, morally, socially, they begin to treat you with a quiet caution. That caution turns into reverence. Think of it this way: the lion doesn't roar to be heard, it roars to remind everyone who it is. When you establish an aura of calm dominance, people instinctively lean back. The goal is not to become aggressive, it is to become so self-assured that aggression isn't necessary. The very idea of disrespecting you should feel dangerous to those around you. You must master the art of boundary enforcement, without over-explaining, without overreacting. Respect doesn't come from being agreeable, it comes from being unmistakably grounded. The moment you begin defending every move or trying to keep everyone happy, you trade your dignity for their comfort. That's weakness in Machiavellian terms, and it's fatal to influence. Those who seek to be liked often end up being used. But those who prioritize their internal code, those who move with firm intention, are seen as leaders. If someone betrays you, you respond not with rage, but with cold precision. You cut off the benefit of your presence. No drama, no second chances. People will talk. Let them. Machiavelli would say your silence will speak louder than 1,000 confrontations. In your workplace, this might mean rejecting tasks beneath you or refusing to tolerate covert disrespect. In relationships, it means you do not chase affection. You attract it by being sovereign. The moment people realize that their access to you depends on their respect for you, they adjust. That is psychological gravity. That is real control. Weakness, on the other hand, is always negotiating with disrespect. A weak man accepts the apology instead of changing the dynamic. A strong man doesn't speak revenge, he becomes it. Total stoicism feels robotic, but raw emotional exposure is dangerous. Machiavelli taught that perception is everything. What people think you are is often more powerful than what you actually are. So you must curate your image. You should be warm, but never too accessible. Kind, but never too forgiving. Expressive, but always in control. When others see you as calm in crisis, focused under pressure, and unfazed by drama, they view you as someone above the ordinary emotional tides of the world. That's when they start to defer to you in subtle ways. They speak softer. They ask instead of demand. They avoid disappointing you. That is respect, not forced, earned through presence. Even your silence becomes powerful. A Machiavellian man understands that to control the room, you don't have to talk the most. You have to be the one whose reaction matters the most. Your reputation should feel like a currency others want to trade in. And that requires discipline. Discipline over your words. Let your unpredictability make them cautious. That edge, that sense that you are not fully known, makes you dangerous in the best way. And danger, when paired with composure, is magnetic. The world has enough agreeable men, enough predictable souls. But what it doesn't have are enough individuals who command respect before they even speak. If you walk into a room and no one adjusts themselves, you are forgettable. Machiavelli would say, "Appear as you must, but act as you will." The performance of strength matters more than the feeling of it. This doesn't mean faking. It means stepping into your sharpest self. You walk like someone with a mission. When others realize they cannot manipulate your emotions, they will start trying to win your favor. And that's the shift, from trying to be accepted to being the one others seek acceptance from. Never forget, the world tests boundaries. People probe to see who can be pushed. If they don't hear from you again, they'll hear about your silence forever. Machiavelli believed in power through perception, and in that perception lies your sovereignty. People must know, instinctively, that losing you is a loss, that disrespecting you has a cost, that betraying you closes the door forever. True power lies not in loud declarations, but in the silence that commands a room. Machiavelli knew this well, and in his final lessons to those who seek unwavering respect, he makes it clear: never be too accessible. People chase what is distant, revere what is elusive, and overvalue what they cannot easily touch. The moment you become too available, you strip away your aura, and with it, their respect. So be warm, but not eager, friendly, but not familiar, present, but never predictable. Master the art of appearing in control, even when chaos surrounds you. If they sense you are always steady, they will begin to rely on your strength more than their own. Next, understand that consistency in discipline is one of the most magnetic forms of power. If you say you will do something, do it. If you set a boundary, hold it. Respect is built every time people realize your word is immovable. In a world full of wavering promises, you must become the exception, the one whose words weigh heavy and actions strike sharp. But perhaps more than anything, Machiavelli teaches that perception is more potent than truth. You don't need to be the strongest, you only need to be seen as strong. You don't need to be the most brilliant, just appear unshakably confident. The crowd sees what you let them see, and if you control their image of you, you control how they treat you. Wear mystery like armor. Speak less, and they'll listen more. Reveal little, and they'll want to know more. And when you do speak, let every word be deliberate, like the final move in a chess game already won. People are drawn to those who don't flinch, who don't explain, who don't chase, only command. But be warned, true respect cannot coexist with desperation. The moment you beg for approval, you surrender power. Let them come to you. Let your presence be an event. Never betray your need, even if it exists. Machiavelli also reminds us that enemies will always exist, and that's good. A man with no enemies stands for nothing. The sharper your edge, the more you'll cut through false allies and reveal your true influence. Do not fear their whispers. Let them talk, because while they talk, you act. And while they judge, you build. And while they judge, you build. And while they plot, you rise. Power doesn't announce itself. It enters quietly. But when it does, everyone feels it. If you've applied every lesson, from maintaining strategic distance, to controlling perception, to standing grounded in chaos, then you've become something rare. Not a tyrant, not a manipulator, but a presence so secure, so unshakable, that people can't help but respect you, even in silence. And that, Machiavelli would say, is the ultimate victory, not to be loved, not even to be feared, but to be respected without ever having to ask for it. The world may change, faces may change, but human nature, it remains the same. And as long as that truth holds, so will the power of these teachings. You're not just learning how to command respect, you're becoming the kind of person who never loses it. The kind whose silence speaks louder than shouts. The kind who walks into any room and instantly shifts the temperature. The kind who walks into any room and instantly shifts the temperature. The kind who, even in absence, is remembered, revered, and respected. So now, ask yourself one final question. Do you want to be liked, or do you want to be remembered?